And we're live. This is a video we're going to watch on technology, the internet, nanoparticles, 5G, 6G, 7G. So we're going to watch that, and hopefully it'll be entertaining and people can come in and chat. So without further ado, I'm going to hit play on our video and wait and see the chat there. Full screen.
So I don't know when people are gonna wake up. It's Cambridge University calling the IOBNT the intra-body Internet of Bio Nano Things. Now this is what they're teaching in their undergraduate teaching 2024 to 2025. University of Cambridge Department of Engineering. Wakey, wakey.
The biodigital convergence describes the intersection and in some cases merging of biological and digital technologies. Biodigital technologies include mRNA vaccines used to treat COVID-19. Oh, and also digitally controlled surveillance insects. Canada is at the forefront of exploring biodigital convergence, creating the standards with the IEC on the Seg-12 biodigital convergence. You can also type that into Google, James. Real easy, Seg-12 biodigital convergence. You'll find all the standardization for human augmentation. What do they say about the biodigital convergence? Biodigital convergence is more than a technological change, says Vander Els, the leader of the Policy Horizons Canada. It may transform economic and trade models and industries such as manufacturing, healthcare, and agriculture. It could transform the way we understand ourselves and cause us to redefine what we consider human. Standards play a key role in shaping what our biodigital future may look like with our biodigital technologies like mRNA. Executive Order on Advancing Biotechnology and Biomanufacturing Innovation for Sustainable, Safe, and Secure American Bioeconomy. September 12th, 2022.
That sounds weird.
First section, third paragraph down. We need to develop genetic engineering technologies and techniques to be able to write circuitry for cells and predictably program biology in the same way in which we write software and program computers, unlocking the power of biological data, including through computer tools and artificial intelligence, and advance the science of scale-up production while reducing the obstacles of commercialization so that innovative technologies and products can reach markets faster, cutting red tape. Just watch how fast 6G comes in, folks. Trump loved 5G. What is the biodigital convergence? Exploring biodigital convergence.
Trump did love 5G.
What happens when biology and digital
He's interested in data centers now.
Nanotechnology is now pervasive in comprehension of nature, solutions for emerging technologies,
and
in all economic sectors dealing with matter, energy, and life systems.
One of the main outcomes of the NNI after 20 years of federal investment is one of the key technologies that was needed for these mRNA vaccines. So if you got a Pfizer vaccine or a Moderna vaccine, the only reason that worked is a nanotechnology called lipid nanoparticles.
But just getting the sequences, getting the appropriate protein and sticking it on a self-assembling nanoparticle.
Internal bio-nano things, these are for the health applications. I did also a lot of research on that the last 15 years. Bio-nanoscale machines, but these are for the injecting into the body and always monitoring the health problems. And that is also really going really well. Like with these COVID vaccines, it's going that direction. These mRNAs are nothing than small-scale nanoscale machines, right? They're programmed and they're injected. And then Internet of Nanoscale things. So those will be part of 7G and beyond, right?
Question, is it possible to reprogram those bacteria you put inside the human body? Yes. So if so, the security risk is much more challenging than we thought.
Absolutely, yeah. So actually, that's true. Like, where is this picture here? Like, remember in the beginning, I showed you this
At the beginning, you mentioned the network is two-way. So if the network communication is two-way and we can reprogram the bacteria we are putting inside the body, we have a huge risk of security over there.
This part is the cyber world, right? So now, of course, that's really very, very important that somebody will send all the wrong information and it can create a zombie, right? All the devices inside can malfunction, right? So it's very, very important that who is transmitting or who is reprogramming that, right? So of course, it's very important
And somebody, in fact, can cut the communication with the internet and, like a man in the middle attack, and come to the near field communication and reprogram it. And this is a huge attack.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's very likely, and that's why
likely.
You know, it's extremely important that part I kept saying about security, right, in the cyberspace. So that's an open issue, and hopefully, you know, people will behave nicely. But that's not the case, unfortunately. You're right. So now if somebody can come and then really reprogram you and kill you, you know. So now if somebody can come and then really reprogram you and kill you, even, you know.
Isn't that nice? Eh? It's nice to be hackable, right? That's what happens when you put people on the internet. They become hackable.
So let me go to these, you know, the way that the communication theory people may know about electromagnetic communication and acoustic communication. They are usually waves, right? Sine waves and etc. And then also in optical communication and quantum communication, we also have these waves, as you see here. But in the molecular communication, we are really so-called particles.
But just getting the sequences, getting the appropriate protein and sticking it on a self-assembling nanoparticle.
And they diffuse in the air. They just go to, you know, sometimes they get lost. They don't go to the destination. And some of them are sucked as the ligand binding receptor by the receiver. Okay. And they diffuse in the air. They just go to, you know, sometimes they get lost. They don't go to the destination. And some of them are sucked as the ligand binding receptor by the receiver. Okay.
Self-assembling nanoparticle.
Internet of Bio.
Drunk ass weather down there.
Computing the human body.
Oh man.
Internet
Yeah, you guys are probably about to get attacked.
Implementation of Internet of Nano Things. It will revolutionize the health.
Yeah, I was going to mention that they haven't been chemtrailing here, so they're probably going to be chemtrailing you guys. Seems like they're focusing all their efforts maybe down there.
Care system. Panakia and Internet of Bio Nano Things.
Hey, Squirrel Sniper, good to see you.
Healthcare detection.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always the IEEE.
You should look at my last show on cloud computing.
ITU.
How they use the cloud in their systems. It's part of the system.
Publishing all their papers.
Sorry, fog computing.
And you'll get into your National Science Foundation.
It's real.
Many, many more. And that's what it is. Are we paying attention yet? I hope so.
Now, after this brief introduction into the biology, the question here is, can we create man-made, man meaning, you know, human-made biological nanomachines? The answer is yes. That means we can reprogram these artificial cells and via DNA manipulations, and that's called genetic engineering. And that will really help us a lot. In fact, unfortunately, some maniacs in the U.S. found all my work the last 18 years. I'm getting a lot of hatred mail, so my life is in danger. They think that I'm Dr. No in James Bond movies, that I'm trying to manipulate human lives. But it's, you know, I'm not the only one. There are many people working on this subject, you know. So now what we try to do is, so you have seen the bacteria, right? So what we can do is we can try to genetically engineer this bacteria. And, you know, there are many illnesses, as you know. I will point them out to you, you know, based on bacteria or viruses, right? So if I create genetically engineered healthy bacteria, for example, Crohn's disease, you know, I don't know, you know, it's an awful disease for intestines. So there's no cure. So I can inject into the body, and then they can fight these ill cells or, you know, ill bacteria, and then solve the problem. You know, so just an example. So I hope you are getting the point, right? So we are trying to create.
Yeah, the fog is probably not that dangerous. Hi, Pamela Jean. Hi, Mr. Mission. But it is hooking you up. Like they're using that for part of the internet. So just look up fog computing, or you can watch my show from last weekend. Hi, cool channel name. Roger's native. I'm thinking that if the controllers could just hear his message. Oh, maybe. I don't think so. Yeah, right, Emmett? Sure, we can wreck people's immune systems. We can fix them, you know, whatever we want.
These nanoscale machines, genetically engineer them, they will act like bacteria, and also in the future you will see that neurons and calcium ions and etc. And it will help us for prolonging our lives. In fact, the mRNA, the COVID injection is exactly based on this idea. So all these fluids, right, there are nanoscale machines inside, right? So when you look inside. So long-term goal is, so this like doing the prokaryotic cells, like bacteria cells, are easier to manipulate, genetically engineer them, but the human cells are much more difficult. Of course, some people may say it's also ethical or non-ethical, but that's not the point now. Of course, some people may say it's also ethical or non-ethical, but that's not the point now. So on the long term,
I love it when he says stuff like that. You know, there's questions whether it's ethical or not ethical, but that's not the point because we're going to do it anyway.
Try to create genetically engineered human cells. And, you know, the success is already there, some of the cases. So how we do this here is we insert a piece of a DNA code, which is called lentil virus cell, and which is a special type of virus used in genetic engineering, as you see here. And then this lentil virus is able to infect the eukaryotic cell and inject the new DNA code in the cell DNA. And then this cell is a healthy cell, and it can go and fight the ill cells.
Now, what are the lessons that DARPA is the unit that started the internet, right? So they published this article, 4 DARPA projects bigger than the internet in 2014, as you see here. Atomic GPS, then virus shield for Internet of Things, and rapid threat assessment. Last but not least, you see, people were attacking me that time. Terrorist against electronics devices, metamaterials, and communication. So now we are.
Oh, sorry to hear that, James.
So like 7 years.
It's minus 11 here. So
the last part, I have like 6 minutes. I want to talk about CubeSats, right? So I covered these, right? I hope you are following me. And so now the issue here is there is IoT on the Earth surface, right? How can we create also IoT in space? Right?
So IT in space, that's what we need.
And so now we have all these LEO satellites, MEO geos, and drones, and that's a hot topic now. So can we also create CubeSats? Right?
Oh, yeah.
So the base background story is quickly.
This video is old. They've already got them up there.
University of New Mexico. Again, I explained here the background story. It's not like I got up and said, "Oh, CubeSats, let's start." So I did a lot of research. When you check my background in the late '90s, early 2000s for NASA, and a lot, for satellites as well as for
Oh, they'll fix you up, Scotty boy.
And then I got out.
Hook you up.
The NASA had some money problems.
Virtual
so
pacemaker,
I did research since 2005.
kidney machine,
so
or whatever.
2017 or 16, I don't remember now. So I was invited
for your healthcare, comrade.
And I gave a talk about these, 5G, 6G type. And then there is this Air Force Research Lab there. And then they showed me about CubeSats. I heard about it. But I said, I'll forget it. And then when I saw that there, I said, my God, there is a future for this. So when I came back, I said, let's start research on this, right? So now we wrote papers here, and, it takes some time, right, to come up with these things. Now, and then we applied 3 patents in the meantime. So now here's another lesson for the young people. So when you start something new, you cannot say, "Oh, let me start and then write another paper." You will not make the impact. So now when I saw that thing, so I was trying to find a corner angle to come in with a big impact, right? Yeah. And then we have like these 3 I put underneath. It's more like the 7G after 2025, 2030, like quantum communications. Again, that's a very hot topic. Everybody talks about it. Like especially quantum computing. My personal opinion is the progress is very slow.
Me too.
The quantum computing is here since 2015, 20 years, and the progress is slow. Similarly, quantum communications is now active, and the outcome is really not there what we expect. For example, you cannot have these big data centers in the mobile systems, right? How will you carry that in your pocket? So it would be a need for new, as an example, mobile device which can do quantum communication, right, and quantum computing. Anyhow, so people are writing papers, right? And then, as Buinar said, I do this research since 15 years, nanoscale machines and also bio-nanoscale machines for the human health. And there's a lot of progress going on here, like molecular communication, health applications, virus detections, bacteria detection. So I wish I could give you one talk about this alone, right? And unfortunately, I will just cover these green areas and then a little bit yellow because I will show you how I ended up in terahertz band communication. So, you know, here's the thing that I tell to the young people. So it's not like...
I think the terahertz bandwidth has already been okayed for the human body. So we're up there in the frequencies.
I always give the background stories about my research. It's not like I get up in the morning and I say, oh, everybody does nano stuff, let me do this. Or everybody does terahertz, so let me do this. That's not the right approach, in my opinion, or my suggestion. So that's why I always give these background stories. So you will hear that also. So as you see here, how did I end up in terahertz band, right? So
how did I end up there?
2005, 4 of my PhD students were on the market for academic positions, and they kept coming back and saying, you know, everybody's looking for nanotechnology people, and so I got interested in nanotechnology. I remember my times in 1975, the microtechnology, like 74, when the microchips started to come out. So then I realized that what will happen, you know, majority of the research was done on the material level as well as on the device level. And, you know, coming from the communications perspective, I wanted to know when these devices are existing, how will they communicate, right? It's happening.
Oh, that's shocking change of sound there. Sorry about the ear rape.
Artificial light is everywhere around us, from the light on the ceilings to the screen of our smartphones, from the headlights of a car to the street lights. There are more than 6 billion artificial light sources in the world. The number of devices is predicted to exponentially grow in the following years.
While they can communicate.
We are witnessing the birth of Internet of Things. Now, not only our smartphones or computers are connected, but also our watches, our cars, and even our fridges and washing machines. Thanks to the capabilities offered by...
And I can't find it, but there's nanoscale... they're internet-capable chips, nanochips or particles that have LEDs in them. And they can... actually, I do have the article for it. But they can light up or control a 16 cubic centimeter area of the brain with 1 nanoparticle. So, yeah.
In modern LEDs, a new form of communication has been developed, which uses artificial light to communicate. It's called visual light communication, or VLC. Here at IMDEA Networks, we believe that VLC is the future. This is why we have developed the first open source VLC platform called OpenVLC. Although the hardware we have developed runs on a small computer, the real magic happens inside the computer. Because almost all the processing techniques are run on software, it is really easy for developers and researchers to modify the software and the behavior of the platform in order to fulfill their requirements. The OpenVLC community grows every day with new researchers, research centers, developers, and universities working with it. We have created a localization system for cars. We have deployed OpenVLC into a realistic scenario, and we are looking into what problems VLC has into dynamic scenarios. We hope OpenVLC will enlighten the path in the future of communications.
Well, they got more than that.
So, I said Human augmentation, page 58, seg 12, good health and well-being, section 3. You click on it, you're going to find that it's the biodigital convergence document. You scroll to page 58. What do you think you're going to see? Sorry, that's page 48, leading up to it. Page 57 is even worse. I'll take you to that one in a minute. Page 58, you got market share.
I think we've
you have
looked
an appropriate International Electrotechnical Commission seg 12, and you're still sitting there pretending, and I don't know how you're doing it. I don't. How is it that you don't understand, with Greta screaming, save the planet, these are the same Agenda 2030 goals. Does that look familiar to you? Of course it does. Over there. Greta's been screaming for years. You're destroying the planet. Sustainability goals. You're looking at them. So how is it that you missed on the far left, health and medicine and good health and well-being, artificial organ and human body on a chip, biomedical devices, bioelectronics, biomanufacturing, cyborg, and human augmentation next to health? How'd you miss that? Right. So the next page.
Go to biodigital convergence.
Human augmentation technologies. And I said, you will also need to contend with international security for the ITU upgrades, for the upgrade to Agenda 2030, which is C40. Biosurveillance and cyber biosecurity.
You can do that for yourself there, cool channel name. Yeah.
So then what you do is say, okay, what is biosurveillance? I still can't spell. Biosurveillance, temporarily, is the process of collecting and analyzing data to detect and manage biological threats to human, animal, and plant health. What do you see as the first link there? That's because I don't care. People will be able to find it. Because biosurveillance can help detect disease outbreaks early. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, wow. It looks like Homeland Security.
Or cause them.
Oh, gee. Nobody knows. DHS is well aware. Body area networks are heavily protected. See other videos. So then you would obviously say, okay, but what is cyber biosecurity? Because that's not real, right? This has to stop. The young people know damn well that what I'm doing right now is a huge waste of time, because the young people are going to colleges for all this, while the adults are sitting around going, yeah, no, I can't read a diagram. That will not end well for anybody. What do you see? I see WG4. Why is that there? Oh, I don't know. Could it be because the government's decided they're not waiting for you to have an opinion? That's what they said in the same document.
You don't get a choice.
In the same document.
Ethics are a secondary,
in the same document,
to national security.
Everywhere. Oh, it's the Agenda 2030. What's a DigiTwin? Shut up. You don't need to know.
National security.
Okay. The ability for an entity, human or machine, those of you that flipped your shit when I started talking about agentic AI and real entities for what they really are. Yeah.
It's a calculator that has programmed answers. That's true. That's all it is right now.
China and a bioweapon. And I'll get to China later. And the biosensors, you won't admit to them. You keep scaring people and telling ghost stories. And you've got it all distributed in network-centric warfare doctrine. Your system of systems comes up with the Chinese government.
Yeah, that happens.
As far as what they're fighting over.
Not as much as you'd think, though, Kiki.
Black Hat later. And your internet
people are actually pretty receptive to these things these days for some reason.
And when I say sustainability goals, everybody screams, the planet is dying. But in reality, they've been filling the planet with sensors everywhere you can imagine: water, soil, food, people, pets. And nobody will talk about that. Nobody's talking about human augmentation or nanotechnology doing this on purpose for 20 years. So where are they heading? You're not stopping them. This is what's coming down from the highest points of the whole world. So what are we doing? We're arguing that it even exists.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Nope. All the doctors and all these people, you're listening to these people talk a year ago, and you're still sitting there, I guarantee it, telling me you're crazy. You're just nuts. You're just crazy.
Government loves you.
In essence,
hi, Chloe.
They have extended the cyber domain. They have invaded your anatomy with a cyber physical system at the nanoscale. This has various consequences. Yeah, they're inside of human anatomy with terahertz frequency. So much for good vibes and being in charge, yeah, of your frequencies. The role of the bio-cyber interface in the context of 6G is to facilitate a seamless integration of the human body with the digital world, enabling advanced applications and services that were previously unimaginable.
Yeah.
Still are. This integration is achieved through the deployment of nanonodes. Yeah,
Unimaginable control.
256 plus are mandatory. And the establishment of a medical body area network, the micro body area network, which allows for the transmission of data and information within the human body using the terahertz band. Now, cross out the word beneficial.
Yeah.
Particularly for intra-body nano networks and in vivo wireless nano sensor networks. Intra-body internet, internet of bio nano things. The bio-cyber interface is part of the broader Internet of Bio Nano Things architecture, which aims to create a network of interconnected nano devices within the human body. Targeted drug delivery, health monitoring, cognitive enhancement.
Probably.
I think you all know non-vaxxer for 20, Rumble Dad, right? So we're on Astrid Stuckelberger's Telegram channel, July 2023. Okay. And Astrid Stuckelberger shared this video. Yeah, Rumble Dad said, thanks for sharing this. You'll find the link below. Now the video is by Piero Bon and Archides about the Internet of Bio Nano Things, and Piero Bon even brings up the NanoCom 2022. Piero Bon Balasubramaniam, yeah, Internet of Bio Nano Things for biomedical applications. He speaks about the bio-cyber interface in a second, yeah? So I'm just playing this to show you that Astrid Stuckelberger has been aware of these people and the Internet of Nano Bio Things for quite some time. Now, has she told you that a bio-cyber interface got deployed for the medical body area network and synthetic bioengineering of human 2.0 without informed consent? I don't think so. Yeah, she's one of the greatest bioweapon peddlers,
consent is
who's trying very hard to cover up that a bio-cyber interface got deployed. Yeah. So this is the Rumble version of the video that Stuckelberger shared in 2023.
Could be printed.
I'm bringing this up at all because if you're sharing Sabrina Wallace's work, yeah, which Astrid Stuckelberger did today, information about the medical body area network in use since 2014. Yeah, this is a publication which is in Sabrina Wallace's free tech metrics PDS, wireless biomedical telemetry with Cisco Yang. This is intra-body nano networking without informed consent. Now, to share it is one thing, but to frame it in a way that it is a kind of music of the future,
just press a button, yeah,
is misleading. Yeah? Then you have to ask the question, this got deployed.
Oh, we've been there. What's happening now? Oh, of course.
Because if you're sharing Sabrina Wallace's work,
okay, give that a second. I'll change the speed here.
yeah, which Astrid Stuckelberger did today. Information about the medical body area network in use since 2014. Yeah, this is a publication which is in Sabrina Wallace's free tech metrics PDS, wireless biomedical telemetry with Cisco Yang. This is intra-body nano networking without informed consent.
Let's see if it'll play.
Now, to share it is one thing, but to frame it in a way that it is a kind of music of the future is misleading. Yeah? Then you have to ask the question, this got deployed, the bio-cyber interface, yeah, got deployed. Biosensor technology, yeah. So it didn't just spring up out of thin air. It had to be developed. It had to be tested, yeah. So if you're sharing Sabrina Wallace's work, you have to include the biosensor testing that was done on children.
Yeah.
Yeah? Otherwise, you're not on our team.
We can verify that on the daily. Why are you lying to people? Okay? So, after you're done with that, that's why it says dangerous here at the end. Without exposing the biomedical telemetry for cognitive electronic warfare and human augmentation SEG-12 with the ITU, nobody is going to get anywhere.
Hi, Kim.
That
Good to see
biomedical
you.
telemetry is locked up tight in intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance internationally. Admit the anatomical aim and fire so people stop running away from the real solutions. Here's the video with the ITU.
Smart city
and you will
strategy.
visibly see
Yeah.
the layout.
That's
You
a
are
good one.
trying to sue in empty lawfare. Your body is the node and the antenna.
You are the node in the network.
So on Non-Vaxxer's channel, that's where I watch it because it's just easier than the YouTube. But this stuff with the ORAN and the rest of you that literally just,
Everyone who knows me
you
knows
didn't tell
they're a
anybody
node in the
anything real
network.
about how long you guys have been doing this. And you have the metamaterials, the cross-fields convergence, the ambient backscatter. You got region of interest. You're using any set of digital signals that are available. You have a digital twin network already, 50 years, and now it's deployed. So anybody who tells you that, oh yeah, I'm going off grid, they're delusional. There is no off grid. Why do you think they're depending on Elon and Starlink so heavily? Oh, so then, as if that's not enough, you get in here and find out that this journey of the cloud structure here is from 2011. Yeah, our Wiley paper for the hybrid architecture inside of these body area networks from Oxford and Cambridge is from 2011. Wireless Communications and Mobile Computing, Volume 11, Issue 2, Network Security and Digital Forensics and Next Gen Communication, February 2011. This is the one that talks about they can give you a disease and take it away in Section 3.
Oh, yeah.
Modification of data and how dangerous it is to have that happen in case someone hacks the nodes on your body.
Got to be careful
Write
there
it out
that you
over
don't
and
get
over.
hacked.
And yet somehow, even though the biosensors are inside of you, your body's doing the transmitting based on your own breathing and pulse right here in Section 1.2, related work.
Oh, you
and
did
even though
Elon
there's a
Musk?
diagram,
We did that
and
too.
even though it's super old,
We did that a
and
long
even though
time
it's
ago.
from the Wiley online library, you lied, and you're getting away with it because nobody wants to admit what you're really making money off of. And now you have a bio-tokenized economy that is measuring how much energy we're putting in or taking out. So anyone who continues to lie about the lawfare either has a faulty attorney grifting them, or they are not up to date on international deployment and law for things like cognitive electronic warfare, NATO mitigation statement, Chapter 7. If it's good enough for the college students and it's good enough for NATO, well, I would say it's good enough for us. What do you think? And they said psyops. And I'm like, nope. And neither did Giordano. And we've been talking about this for 2.5 years here on the channel. We have improved the amount of papers we have thanks to the international community. In my own country of the United States, they make every excuse you can think of, from I have to watch 50 videos. Nope, get the PDF and go. I can't read a diagram. I'm unable to talk about what makes me money every day in my bank account. I will lie about my own industry, and I will tell you I don't know what a Mac ID is in computer science. And all of it is to hide the fact that they've been doing this for so long. 1996 is a long time, okay? Intra-body communication, if I ask the question before we read the NATO statement, what is intra-body communication, okay? That's the wireless technology that uses the human body to transmit electrical signals and connect sensors. The human body is a transmission medium for electrical signals. And the very first link here is the one that I took people to because they screamed and yelled. In my country, they make every excuse you can imagine. I can't read Wikipedia. Okay. Well, here's the Syntech project. What is intra-body communication? Oh, it's that promising wireless communication technology, which provides data from the human body to the medical and sports devices we wear all the time. Oh, a little bit of history. When was intra-body communication studied? 1996. Wow, that's really interesting. That's normal because when I come back over here to the medical implant communication system, it's 1999. Pacemakers, insulin pumps. Fitbit, yeah. Right. And you're telling people total garbage and religious noise and aliens to avoid getting called out on the carpet for being under people's skin for 30 years, which you handed off to DEF CON and Mayorkas with a new heart system, built a new biometric database. Heart attack. How DHS's biometric database will supercharge surveillance and threaten rights from the Surveillance Resistance Lab. And this is for everybody, including minors and anybody over 70. They have every human being. Nobody is exempt. They've had 50 years of digital twins. This didn't show up in the last 10 years. And instead of telling anyone this, instead of admitting to people that we have systems, we have securities on body area networks, nope, endless lying, grifting, and bullshitting. And I said, the entirety of the internet, because I used to work a job, is not built the way you think it is, okay? So the paper with all the sensors in it, right? With all these different sensors that are there for our military and to clean up the environment with water remediation, controlling the fungi networks, mycelial networks. And what did you tell people out there? Total lies across the board. And the number one thing you would not admit is the human anatomy that they're using for this with molecular communication, the way the bees signal the flowers. DNA nanobiosensor, protein nanobiosensor, whole cell nanobiosensor, and a quantum dot. Use of nanobiosensors for in vitro diagnostics. Laboratory. Patient-tailored treatment, proactive monitoring, early detection, faster diagnoses. Advantages of the Internet of Nano Things in healthcare. Real-time and remote patient monitoring.
I always say healthcare.
And then we take you to the NS3W band. And the W band MIT MATLAB projects from 8 years ago. And we're like, yeah, it's software. We log into the body and we have biomarkers called sensors in the body. They're called biosensors. And then they report to the internet. And the screaming wouldn't stop. And those of us here on the channel are like, can you read? Direct contact with care providers or emergency services, as well as all that decision-making analysis and improved treatment that can be relayed back to the band, the body area network. And for us here on the channel, we're like, you've had the medical implant communication service since 1999. Dick Cheney and his pacemaker in 2007. Network-centric warfare is the current military doctrine. You're using sensors open systems architecture with all 5 branches. We can verify that on the daily. Why are you lying to people? Okay. So after you're done with that, that's why it says dangerous here at the end. Without exposing the biomedical telemetry for cognitive electronic warfare and human augmentation SEG-12 with the ITU, nobody is going to get anywhere. Because that biomedical telemetry is locked up tight in intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance internationally. Admit the anatomical aim and fire so people stop running away from the real solutions. Here's the video with the ITU, and you will visibly see the layout you are trying to sue in empty lawfare. Your body is the node and the antenna. So on Non-Vaxxer's channel, that's what I watch it because it's just easier than the YouTube. But this stuff with the ORAN and the rest of you that literally just lied. You didn't tell anybody anything real about how long you guys have been doing this. And you have the metamaterials, the cross-fields convergence, the ambient backscatter. You got region of interest. You're using any set of digital signals that are available. You have a digital twin network already, 50 years, and now it's deployed. So anybody who tells you that, oh yeah, I'm going off grid, they're delusional. There is no off grid. Why do you think they were depending on Elon and Starlink so heavily? Oh, so then, as if that's not enough, you get in here and find out that this journey of the cloud structure here is from 2011. Yeah, our Wiley paper for the hybrid architecture inside of these body area networks from Oxford and Cambridge is from 2011. Wireless Communications and Mobile Computing, Volume 11, Issue 2, Network Security and Digital Forensics and Next Gen Communication, February 2011. This is the one that talks about they can give you a disease and take it away in Section 3, modification of data and how dangerous it is to have that happen in case someone hacks the nodes on your body. I've read it out over and over. And yet somehow, even though the biosensors are inside of you, your body's doing the transmitting based on your own breathing and pulse right here in Section 1.2, related work. And even though there's a diagram, and even though it's super old, and even though it's from the Wiley online library, you lied, and you're getting away with it because nobody wants to admit what you're really making money
She
off.
talks way too fast.
And now you have a bio-tokenized economy that is measuring how much energy we're putting in or taking out. So anyone who continues to lie about the lawfare either has a faulty attorney grifting them, or they are not up to date on international deployment and law for things like cognitive electronic warfare, NATO mitigation statement, chapter 7. If it's good enough for the college students and it's good enough for NATO, well, I would say it's good enough for us. What do you think? And they said psyops. And I'm like, nope. And neither did Giordano. And we've been talking about this for 2.5 years here on the channel. We have improved the amount of papers we have thanks to the international community. In my own country of the United States, they make every excuse you can think of from, I have to watch 50 videos. Nope, it's PDF and go. Kim. I can't read a diagram. I'm unable to talk about what makes me money every day in my bank account. I will lie about my own industry, and I will tell you I don't know what a Mac ID is.
Joseph Michael Jornet is a former PhD student of Professor Ian F. Archimedes.
Yeah, the whole video is not hers, so don't worry about
active U.S. patents.
You like her talking
smart
speed?
Healthcare system.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of stuff at double speed
bio nanosensors, plasmonics, photonics for biosurveillance under the skin. Graphene-enabled wireless communications, intra-body wireless nanosensor networks. Internet of nano bio things, the intra-body internet. This is Professor Ian F. Archimedes in Abu Dhabi this past November, Internet of Nano Bio Things.
Right. And also his name is there too, somewhere, Joseph Jornet. So from Barcelona, and then I started the research group.
So they have also other patents together, and then Archimedes continues that they will be injecting the nano biosensors this year into the humans.
Design and produce, right? Design of bio-nanosensors. So that's what we will inject inside the body, right, this year.
Nice.
Okay. So here we have Jornet and the other patent holders in vivo nanobio sensing inside of the living human being with the injectable active nanosensors, where nanosensors are injected into human body to collect real-time information. Nanoparticles traveling through the blood vessel. We're on the website of a cyber security company called Level 9 Healthcare Cyber Security Solutions. Very interesting. Now, they have got a page which is called Threats and Solutions to Wide Body Area Networks. Wide body area networks, that is just another term for wireless body area networks, and it is also the medical body area network. Now, it's very interesting to read about the in-body sensors that are in use by our healthcare providers. And what I also find very interesting, since nobody was willing to cover the NanoCom conference in Milano, Italy, and the ETSI Smart Body Area Network panel, in this text, about cybersecurity in healthcare for the medical body area network.
Maybe, I don't know who that
They're
is.
citing Mookie. Now, this could be any person, couldn't it? But usually there are source links, and you can click on them. There's one of Cisco,
Okay.
Mookie. Yeah, so I checked and I look what we got here. That's the same Mookie who was on the Smart Body Area Network panel of the NanoCom.
Oh, look at that.
So here is a definition of the bio-cyber interface. So there are multiple interfaces. It's not just one type of interface. Yeah?
Yeah.
We are focusing mainly on the bio-cyber interfaces under people's skin because they're the invasive ones. Yes, Siri?
Ich konnte vape.
So here you go. Former computer network engineer, Sabrina Wallace.
Security, yep. That's why it's a bio-cyber interface. College textbooks. Bio-cyber interface. Sorry.
Yeah, right, Colin?
What is that? Here, phrasing it as a question. What is a bio-cyber interface? A hybrid device that translates biological signals from within a living organism, like biochemical signals from cells, into electrical signals that can be processed by computer systems.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
How does it do that?
Bio-nanothing networks ring a bell from 2011 and Professor Achildes in Nanocom in Milan. No, not unless you're following Corinne on the X. It's a bioweapon. Oh, hot damn, worst bioweapon ever, unless you put the industry back in it. Then we making money.
Yeah.
Let me show you again. This is industry that is mandated worldwide. This is not limited to the United States. This is now the Internet of Everything.
Oh, yeah.
For our warfare, network-centric warfare doctrine. See other videos. But you know what doesn't change? The ability to find you even easier, anywhere, anyhow, next to anybody, for any reason. So Cisco Digital Network Architecture also connects to your Cisco Yang. And your Cisco Yang is handling those biosensors on the W-band 802.15.4 using computer networking tools like Netconf, ResConf, and all the rest. And they've been talking about it for like 3 or 4 years. And again, this has to do with health level 7. Industrial scale doesn't wait for the rest of you out there, does it? No. That's your developing international standards for exchanging electronic health information on that W-band blockchain. And in the hospitals, there's all sorts of different ways that they're working around your electronic health records. EHR.
I don't know who that is. I've heard the name before.
So Cisco Yang connecting directly to the microband 802.15.4.
Yeah, a human being holding a light bulb. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Let me do it this way. next gen is what you're going to see all over for real telecommunications going forward. Yang, yet another next generation, is a data modeling language used to define data sent over network management protocols, such as NetConf and RESTConf. Cisco Yang Suite is a tool that helps users learn, test, and adopt Yang programmable interfaces. Did you forget where your network layer is? Seems like you did. Let's do it again. What are the OSI layers? Computer network nerds, heads up, I warned you. I said architecture, and you decided to keep Latin to people, and I said you better quit, and you're like, no, it's my consensus. Okay, you're so cute when you lie like this. Code nerds are restricted from the transport session presentation up for a reason. It's called hard cybersecurity. You don't get to come play down here into the data link layer. But here.
We're transitioning y'all into this. And this right here ain't owned by the same bank that's this. So if we're oversimplifying, and again, oversimplifying here, this is the old system. This is the new system. This is the old system. This is the new system. This is the old system, and you are the new system. So when you feeling bad, don't let this industry keep lying to you like they've been this whole time, covering for this industry, the tech industry, forget the fact that it's backwards, by calling it long COVID or, you know, some sort of chronic fibromyalgia. They are running the internet through your body, according to the American Department of Defense. You don't have to take my word for it. What you talking about, Chris? What you talking about? They can't do that. Yes, they can. Yes, they already do. Yes, the DoD said anybody who wants to step up to the plate and get some AI precision healthcare, y'all have been doing that since 2017. You're talking, what, 7 years now? 8?
So I want to say thank you, because he did a fantastic job bringing some things together that for most people, they're completely unaware. The Defense Nanotechnology Research and Development Plan in December of 2009 at the Department of Defense, the United States of America. Director, Defense Research and Engineering. We have an executive summary. We have an introduction, goals and challenges, plans and progress. The United States Air Force devices and systems. Zoom in here for you. Photon plasmon electron conversion enables a new class of imaging cameras. Air Force nanomaterials, processing of explosive formulations with nano aluminum powder. Air Force manufacturing, uncooled infrared detector made possible with controlled carbon nanotube array. Fraud. You got to stop doing that. These are jobs that are well known, just like counterintelligence has jobs to make sure you believe in the hokum. Get all worked up about your birth certificate. Get worked up about the aliens. Get worked up about Jesus coming back. But whatever you do, don't learn anything about those biosensors, the biocyber interface. Learn nothing about HOW. Nothing. The electromagnetic algorithms tethered directly to your DNA, that's not for you. That's like Jake Tapper told you.
I have to
you don't get to read those emails with Hillary. That's for him. He's a journalist. And in the same way, these white papers that I'm showing you that have the data running right through your skin, those are only for people who pay $30,000 a year to subscribe to the IEEE. You buying that? That you're too stupid to read? You feel good about that? I don't. Your own body's electricity. Give me money. Maybe I'll tell you a few months from now something real. In the meantime, be afraid, but I know what's going on. That's called fraud. That's called fraud. This is from 2012, Cognitive Threat Warfare Technology.
Well, we look up.
Again,
these
systems are businesses. This is industry. This isn't something that's hidden by Illuminati hand signs, which is why it never should have been lied about by anybody. Any of you could have done this. This PDF that I'm showing you, I made this in 20 minutes.
You can go back to many of my shows. And
here's a picture of their handhelds. Bioelectromagnetics, that's physics. Biophysics, yeah. They're not going to tell you that.
It's shocking, but that's what they're doing.
It's the human biofield. Every single human body is electrical and magnetic. and we measure.
Yeah, her anger is
that.
towards the professionals that are lying to us.
They keep
not
telling you it's
us.
supernatural, it's woo-woo, they don't know what they do. And I said, you have 3 layers of cyber biological security that you've been working on with the United Nations and the IEEE, bare minimum, 2004, 7, 2005 for the biosensors, and you're still out there telling people that it's the demons and the aliens?
Just going to call you
how
10,
are they going to know
10,
how the drone is following
international standards have already been passed for all this.
Be afraid of my religion. That's called fraud.
Wire shark? I don't know what that is.
Especially if you're a paying member to the
This is
IEEE.
all new stuff to
National
me.
Nanotechnology Initiative, nano.gov. What? NNI? Nanostructured flat lens uses machine learning to see more clearly while using less power. And that screen will keep switching and showing you other initiatives. The vision of the National Nanotechnology Initiative, NNI, is a future in which the ability to understand and control matter at the nanoscale leads to ongoing revolutions in technology and industry that benefit society. And they have a great document here with the Nanotechnology 2023 budget with $2 billion invested into it through the bioeconomy. I would be definitely looking into that. Talks all about synthetic biology and how they already have been.
But you can look up everything we talk about here.
And how they plan to spray more on us. Talks about how they plan to put nanotechnology in our water supply through the water
They're actually
filtration
showing
system.
you how they just look
Talks
it
about
up.
how they're using nanotechnology for growing food. It's in everything, folks. Enabling the nanotechnology revolution, celebrating the 20th anniversary of the 21st Century Nanotechnology Research and Development Act. So I'd be watching these guys and what they're doing.
The National Nanotechnology Initiative, or NNI, has released a new video documentary highlighting the past 20 years entitled NNI Retrospective Video, Creating a National Initiative, produced in cooperation with TV Worldwide and the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. The video documents how an international science and technological endeavor was set in motion by the creation of the National Nanotechnology Initiative in 2000. With a cumulative U.S. investment of $36 billion by 2021. This video can be viewed in its entirety at this URL.
Researchers at MIT, Harvard Medical School, and Brigham and Women's Hospital have recently invented a technology to wirelessly power up tiny devices like this one, deep inside the human body. These devices have no batteries, yet the new technology can wirelessly power them up and communicate with them from a distance outside the body. The researchers envision that the technology, called IVN, could revolutionize medical device design. For example, by placing these devices inside smart pills, they could perform controlled drug delivery inside the stomach to treat diseases like malaria or Alzheimer's. The devices could also measure the condition of organs and tissues inside the body and send it to the outside world. These tiny devices could be integrated with neurostimulators implanted inside the brain to perform deep brain stimulation, to treat diseases like Parkinson's or epilepsy, or to
like some
control neural
artificial
circuits through
neurons.
optogenetics manipulation.
Well, they've got
So, how can
nanotech that
IVN
light
power up
with
and
LEDs,
communicate with these devices when they have
self-powering.
no batteries? When IVN transmits a wireless signal, the signal goes through the body and
vibrational
reaches the tiny
technology.
implanted sensor. The
Nice.
sensor harvests energy from these signals
Hi,
to
Paul.
power up and communicate. But there's one major hurdle. When wireless signals go through the body, they lose a lot of their energy. To overcome this problem while transmitting signals that are safe for humans, IVN uses multiple antennas. But simply transmitting the same signal
I don't
from
know what
multiple
wire
antennas
stock
will
is,
not
dude.
solve the
I have
problem.
no idea.
IVN uses a sophisticated
You're
signal
obviously
generation
knowledgeable
technique that
about
allows
this,
the
so you're
signals to
trying to
combine
catch us up on
constructively at the sensors. This enables IVN to excite the sensors, power them up, and allow them to sense and communicate. The researchers have tested IVN with millimeter-sized, battery-free sensors placed inside a pig. They have shown how to power up and communicate with battery-free tags placed under the pig's skin and 10 centimeters deep inside the pig's stomach. IVN sends commands to these tiny battery-free sensors and obtains data back from them from inside the body.
I
And
suspect
because
you already
IVN
know,
can power them
but
up,
type
they do
in
not need
IEEE.
batteries and they do not need to be replaced. The researchers envision that this technology can revolutionize medicine by enabling continuous in-body diagnosis and treatment
you already
using
know,
tiny
though.
battery-free sensors. For more information, check ivn.media.mit.edu.
Targets are hard to...
The brain is made of maybe thousands of different kinds of cells called neurons that are built into very dense intermesh networks that communicate. Each of these neurons computes using electricity. This cycle implements behavior and thought and emotion, all these different kinds of things. We also think that deficits in these electrical computations underlie many brain disorders that affect over 1 billion people around the world. In optogenetics, what we're doing is we're putting molecules that convert light into electricity into neurons, the cells of the brain. Then when we shine light on those neurons, light gets converted to electricity and allows us to turn on or off those cells. The goal here is to find a way to control the electrical activity in some cells and not others in the network. To do that, we had to turn to the natural world.
Who doesn't love bacon?
It turns out that throughout all the kingdoms of life, in plants and funguses and bacteria and so on, you can find photosynthetic or photosensory molecules that convert light into electricity. So we borrowed these molecules from nature, and then using tricks from the field of gene therapy, we can put them into neurons. Now, these molecules can convert light to electricity, and they do it just in the neurons that we want to control, and not all their neighbors. So we can deliver these molecules to some cells and not others, and then we shine light on the network, we can turn on or off that subset of the cells. If we can turn on or off a set of cells that's embedded within this dense matrix, we can figure out how do they contribute to a behavior. For example, if we can turn on a set of cells, we can figure out what kinds of behaviors can it initiate. If we can turn off a set of cells, then we can delete it momentarily and figure out what it's necessary for. So by being able to dial in information into cells in the brain and to delete them, we can try to figure out how they contribute to networks and the behaviors and diseases that arise from brain computations. We can hunt down the exact set of cells that are contributing to a specific disease state, or which, when activated or shut down, will remedy that disease state. That's really important because right now, a lot of drugs are developed that target molecules. But molecules are found throughout the brain. And in fact, many cells in the brain might be very molecularly similar to one another. If we can target circuits in the brain, though,
I'm not
we might be able to
in
develop much more specific
electrical
drugs.
engineering.
Imagine if we could hunt down the exact set of cells in the brain that when activated remedy a brain disorder. And then we can go in and look at the exact molecules in those cells. Maybe we can find drug targets that are much more specific than existing ones. You might also imagine that we could use optogenetics to directly control brain circuits in patients with brain disorders. Electricity is used to stimulate the brain in deep brain stimulation. If instead we could actually aim light at certain cells and turn them on or off, we might be much more specific. Rather than using electricity to turn on and off the cells of the brain and have many kinds of cells activated, the ones we want to affect as well as all their neighbors,
light's better.
If we could make just one disease-associated subset associated with light and we could turn them on or off, we might be able to treat them with much more specificity. So far, optogenetics has had a lot of impact in the scientific world, but it hasn't been used in any human patients yet. There are a couple reasons why. One is that it requires a gene therapy to deliver the gene that encodes for these light-activated molecules into the body. Currently in the US, there are no FDA-approved gene therapies. In Europe, there's just one. Another issue is that these molecules come from organisms like algae and bacteria. And so if we are putting these molecules into the body, would they be detected as foreign agents and attacked by the immune system, for example? What we need is a paradigm shift in how we think about treating brain disorders. And one of our major stances is that we need new technologies if we really want to either understand the principles of treating brain disorders, hunting down the exact cells in the brain that can help us treat brain disorders, or to develop new modalities, new forms of energy, new strategies for treating brain disorders by correcting the computations within the brain.
More and more often, we're connecting things to our mobile devices via networks like Bluetooth. And most of these things, like smartwatches and fitness trackers, are attached to our body. But those Bluetooth signals extend well beyond arm's length. And Shreyas Sen from Purdue University says that makes them hackable.
It is becoming increasingly common to have
parts of it.
Smartwatches, fitness trackers, and even more wearable devices like head-mounted displays, etc. And all of these are interconnected using the body area network, where we are using the electromagnetic spectrum to communicate among these devices. People around the room can snoop on these signals and do malicious things.
The problem is that Bluetooth signals can extend from the body by as much as 10 meters, accessible to someone walking or sitting nearby. Sen and his team have turned the human body into a communication system that's incredibly secure because it only extends about a centimeter beyond the skin. It also uses nearly 100% less energy than traditional Bluetooth networks.
Awesome. Our research on human body communication focuses on, for the first time, containment of the signal within the body, so that someone who is very close to the body but not touching the body cannot still snoop the signal.
The security implications are impressive. The system also imagines the future possibility of a simple wearable device doctors can use to monitor a person's health continuously, perhaps dispensing medicine or tweaking implanted devices like pacemakers.
I can see this changing humans' daily lives in terms of human-computer interaction or healthcare remote monitoring throughout the day. So the fact
you'd
that
think it would be, they claim that
this technology impacting
there was a claim made earlier in the video that you could have e-health, electronic e-health.
The Purdue team has multiple patents on their technology and is working with government and industry players to miniaturize their tech
them to monitor
into a
you.
tiny wearable circuit. Kevin Enochs, VOA News.
Here we are in the IEEE Explorer, improved Mac access under the IEEE 802.15.6, which is your wireless body area network. Completely real, has standards for it. Here's your standard. Here's your abstract. W-band are composed of small number of sensor nodes implanted in or on the body to monitor desired vital signs as a means to both expedite and ease ambulatory long-term and continuous vital sign monitoring.
Content we have
W-band has opened up new opportunities in healthcare systems by enhancing the quality of life provided for the patients and also the quality of healthcare services. Although QoS research in computing is not new, in sensor network applications, it is still a largely unexplored research field. This paper proposes an enhanced MAC access mechanism in the IEEE 802.15.6 standards based on traffic prioritization. So that was in 2017. Oh, look, something else happened in 2017.
Yeah.
The industrial cyber physical system, a backbone of the fourth industrial revolution. The standards for this were also implemented in 2017 from the Institute of Electrical and Electronics, the IEEE. The folks helping the IEC.
Yeah, I think they need more data centers and more power.
Your digital
I don't think they have the power
which
to
includes
do what
the Internet of Binary Things and biodigital.
So they're trying to get us all into
ultimately.
cities.
Industrial cyber physical system,
out.
a backbone of the fourth industrial revolution. Publisher, the IEEE. Abstract.
So they do have
cyber physical systems, CPSs, are perceived as the pivotal enabler for a new era of real-time internet-based communications and collaboration among value chain participants, which would be anybody that's connected on the social media apps. Example, devices, systems, organizations, and humans. The CPS utilization in industrial settings is expected to revolutionize the way enterprises conduct their business from a holistic viewpoint, i.e. from shop floor to business interactions, from suppliers to consumers, and from design to support across the whole product and service life cycle.
Yeah.
Industrial CPS, ICPSs, blur the fabric of cyber, including business,
put some
and
nanotech
physical
in those bugs.
worlds, and kickstart an era of system-wide collaboration and information-driven interactions among all stakeholders of the value chain, the people that control these apps. We are the products,
right, you tell me,
connected to this value chain, all of these apps. Therefore, ICPSs are expected to empower the transmission of industry and business at large to a digital, adaptive, networked, and knowledge-based industry with significant long-term impact on the economy, society, environment, and citizens. God, that sounded a lot like what that Biodigital Convergence Canadian government document was saying. IEEE Explorer.
Sure they do, Kim.
Not blogs.
I can show that.
So there's just something I wanted to add to this part, since we just talked about the cyber physical backbone for the fourth industrial revolution being implemented in 2017. Something that correlates with 2017 that I noticed a couple of years ago. So here we are in the World Health Organization Vigi Access, and on their search the database, I put in COVID-19 vaccine. You're going to pick COVID-19 vaccine on the top. And you're going to scroll down. It's going to have over 5 million reports. So it hasn't even changed since the last time I looked at it, which was like 2 years ago. So they're just not updating it anymore. But what really stood out to me here that correlates with 2017 and the cyber physical backbone is you have their adverse drug reports per year here. You go to the table section and you can have the years all on the left and then the amount of reports, the count in the.
I have to forward that. Sorry.
Into a ecosystem driven by big data and driven particularly by close cooperation also of governments with business, civil society. And this revolution will come at a breathtaking speed. It will be like a tsunami.
Bioengineering.
Actually, it's not just a digital revolution. It's digital, of course, physical with nanotechnology, but it's also biological. And so 3D provides a particular force to this revolution. So what the World Economic Forum is doing is to promote this
Scotty has said way worse.
masters the fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah, I do class at 11
industrial revolution
and a chat show at 3 p.m.
Every industry will be digitalized, will be
Friday and Saturday nights,
and has to define a new business model. But it's not only
I'm always on the
business
weekend,
which is affected.
okay.
It's government which has to move over to agile
You were looking?
government.
Yeah, it's hard to find me for some
Society
reason.
as a whole, with the danger of job losses, but also with the need to reskill and upskill people fast. So there's an impact on society. So we will have to prepare very well for this revolution. And I feel that the Asian countries with a relatively young population can manage and master this revolution easier compared to other countries in the world. What is particularly important is the educational system. We have to change the educational system, which is still very much anchored. Even in the 19th century, we have to adapt it to the need to change continuously, for example, jobs. So the new educational system has not only be aiming at developing digital capabilities, and I should add ethical norms, but it also has to be based on a lifelong educational system.
Oh, wow. Hi, April. Good to see you.
I hope to pique your curiosity with a vision to the future of how we might enhance brain function as we know it and possibly change our sense of self. If you imagine the brain as this city, up till now it's been as if we've been looking at the city from space. We really haven't had the tools to do anything beyond seeing what whole city blocks are doing.
It's all good, April.
So you can see what happens if there's a blackout and you lose a whole part of the city. What you actually want to know is what the individual components of the city, what the people are doing, and what's the information that's being transported from one part of the city to the other. Optogenetics is the ability to manipulate individual neuronal circuits, refining our vision, the function of individual circuits, and how they relate to different aspects of our behavior and of our personality. I'm going to give you a few examples of what's been done with this technology so far. The basal ganglia is a part of your brain that is damaged in Parkinson's disease. This part of the brain contains many kinds of neurons, and they're all intermingled. If you activate a certain subset of them with optogenetics, you can make a rat freeze up and have difficulty walking. If you activate a different subset, the rats start moving faster. They take light-sensitive proteins from very humble species, such as algae that you find in a pond, and can put them into another animal, such as a rat or a mouse. This gives you the ability to control the activity of your brain cells just by shining light on them. So imagine if we could use optogenetics or similar technology to get the input from an artificial sensor into our brain. In principle, we could not only restore function, we could enhance our current functions. So we could give ourselves ultraviolet light detectors, for example, the way mantis shrimps
Like
have.
I say, Ted,
or we could take an example from fruit flies and give ourselves carbon dioxide detectors, and then we could automatically sense our air quality. When things go wrong with the brain, it's just so devastating. I think one of the hopes for optogenetics is that if it can work in humans, that it might be used as a tool for restoring brain function. There's a lot of ethical issues about enhancing your function and making yourself better. This is what actually the whole discussion after my ideas lab morphed into, which was not about optogenetics or not what we might do, but whether we should do it.
From this.
It's a combination of signals, but that's what it is. And what we can see is that we shine the light for...
Yeah. Real world applications of this are actually out there. Let's see if I can find that bookmark. I like this one. People want to see if they can augment themselves and stuff, and you can do it already. Where is that?
Super Patch is the most
I like this
advanced
one.
wearable technology in the market, with 15+ years of
commercial.
research and development. Super Patches are 100% drug-free, non-invasive, and backed by science. Our skin absorbs and transmits information from many different types of stimulation. Every physical, emotional, and psychological function has a corresponding neural code or message in our brain that controls and regulates it. Due to factors such as injury, stress, genetics, etc., these neural codes can get disrupted, leading to poor health, wellness, and performance. At Super Patch, we've decoded these neural messages that manage the neural control of physical, emotional, and psychological functions. Every single Super Patch has a unique pattern of ridges in it, similar to a QR code. When these ridges come in contact with our skin, the receptors in and around our skin send a message to our brain, which then decodes it. This intricate pattern of ridges is known as vibrotactile technology, or VTT for short. When the patch stimulates the skin receptors, it generates and sends a very complex signal to our brain to correct the specific neural codes that may be disrupted. The effects are almost immediate. So you focus less on overcoming wellness and quality of life challenges and more on living a happier and healthier life. Whether it's improving your sleep, enhancing your sports performance, or unlocking other life-enhancing benefits, Super Patch has you covered. Try Super Patch today and start your health and wellness
Probably
journey.
have a good blue pill for you,
www.super
for men.
For 5 seconds, and then we just kept looking. We see that when we shine the light, the signals go out. But then, of course, if we stop shining the light, the neurons don't have anything else to say, so the signals eventually die. Fine. This is a result. Again, the concept of optogenetics is not new, has existed for close to 20 years. What we were demonstrating here for the first time is that instead of exciting all the neurons or none of the neurons, we can selectively trigger specific neurons. Fine. There is one thing, however, which is the following. With this channel rhodopsin, we are kind of letting calcium ions flow or not flow. Fine. Is that the only thing we are doing? Are we triggering any cellular process besides letting calcium ion go or not? And I always give the same example. When this channel rhodopsin acts in the following way. Imagine that the neuron is an elevator, fine? The channel rhodopsin is nothing but someone trying to push the doors open from the elevator so calcium ions can flow. So that's a stressful process for the cell. And in other words, if you keep doing that to your elevator, if instead of pressing the button to say open the door, you have someone mechanically pushing the doors, well, eventually you will break the door, right? So our collaborator, Michal, was like, I'm quite confident we are triggering other stress processes in the cell. Why don't we go and check? So we did that. What we did was, okay, instead of just looking only at whether there are calcium ions flowing between cells, let's go and monitor two specific genes. One is CFOS, which is a gene that when it's triggered, it's expressed very quickly. The other is FGFR1, which is a gene that will take some time to express, but when it expresses, it controls many other things. We'll talk about FGFR1 in a couple of slides. So what we did here is to take, instead of a single Petri dish, we take an 8-chamber slide or dish, if you want to think it, and some of the wells were with cells that had been transfected with channel rhodopsin, whereas some of the wells were just cells that were not transfected with any light-sensitive protein, just with a negative control protein. Fine. What did we do then? We went again with our blue light and start pumping the neurons. Sure, the calcium ion was going around, but we were interested in seeing if there was any gene expression. And what did we obtain? Well, we indeed saw, and that's what you see in these figures, that let's look first at cells that have been transfected with the channel rhodopsin, which means that we have added the channel rhodopsin to them, and let's look at the expression of this very immediate action gene, the CFOS, and what we can see that if there is no light, the CFOS is not expressed, but when we shine with light, again, blue light, we see this CFOS gene expressed. Okay, so with light, we are controlling the expression of a specific gene. And once again, if instead of adding channel rhodopsin, we use any other non-light sensitive sequence, what happens is that you can shine as much as you want, that there is not going to be any significant thing being expressed in the neurons. Fine. With channel rhodopsin, we can control whether these signals can propagate through a neuron or not. And with light, we can control channel rhodopsin. So with light, we can control signal propagation. That's the experiment that was very first done by, by who created the field of optogenetics. In our case, the first step was to first, let's make sure that we can reproduce the results in the literature, but then let's go beyond this. In a traditional laboratory setup, the focus is to manipulate all the neurons, all the cells in the same way at the same time. But in our vision, what we want to do is to be able to show that you can connect, you can manipulate one cell at a time. Maybe the only cells that are not working in the way that you expected, or the only cells that you need them to do something, are confined in a very small region. Just to give you an idea, the size of a neuron body, of a neuron nucleus or the neuron head, it's again tens of micrometers. So if you really want to target just one neuron at a time, you need to make a device that can potentially shine light in a very small surface. So what we did in this very first experiment, once again, is we take neurons, we add channel rhodopsin to them, and then we utilize blue light to trigger channel rhodopsin, and then we utilize a fluorescent red particle so that when there are calcium ions flowing through, this particle will lighten up, and we will know that indeed there is signal propagation. What do we use to do this experiment? Well, the first step was to take a conventional laser, remove the cap, block it out, so suddenly our laser is blacked out, it cannot emit any light, but then we come and we do two tiny openings, one which is just 5 by 5 micrometers, and one that is just 20 by 20 micrometers. That's what you see in the figures here on the bottom, that's the openings, and on the bottom right, you see the actual light source seen with a microscope. Fine. One thing, as you can imagine, electronics and liquid media do not go very well together. So of course, we had to build an encasing for this device, and as well as a holder for the dish where our living neurons were. So there was some work to do from the mechanical perspective too. But we put all those things together, and then what did we do? Well, we did the following. We took our neurons, we placed the laser immediately under the dish, a transparent dish. And then what we did was to activate the blue light lasers and then monitor the red fluorescent particle. The red fluorescent particle is the one that, if there is red light, it means that there are calcium ions. And what were we able to see? Well, we were able to see that under or on top of the location where our laser was being activated, those cells would start talking to each other. That's why you see these red bright spots. Red is an indicator that there is calcium ions flowing. Why are there calcium ions flowing? Because
probably LEDs. They could use lasers.
Well, that's the type of laser that we think we want to use in conjunction with our antennas. Lasers. And of course, as you may imagine, if we intend to do some sort of spatial control, we need more than just one laser and an antenna. We need an array. And again, once you understand the physics of optical signals, and once you tailor the antenna theory to the peculiarities of optical signals, and in particular materials, frequencies, we can start talking about beamforming too. And you can either make an array that it's only an array of antennas, that's what you see on the right, but you can also make an array which is an array of lasers themselves. So for those who work on more traditional frequencies, I would say, we can do, fully analog beamforming antenna arrays, or we can make fully digital beamforming antenna arrays at optical frequencies and with footprints, as you can see here, of just a few tens of micrometers. Fine. So the technology is there, and in reality, that's the reason why many things have changed in the last 10 years. Why do I throw in this reference to last 10 years? Well, the very first time that we used the term Internet of Nanothings was in a visionary paper back in 2010 with Professor Achilles. Then in 2015, SASI added its flavor with the Internet of Bio Nanothings. And well, we are at a point today that some of these things can become reality. And what we're going to show next are the results of some experiments in which we went ahead and we interfaced two parts of this talk. We actually showed how we can use optical signals at the nanoscale to control the propagation of molecular signals. We'll talk about mostly 3 experiments, which can be grouped in 2 areas. We'll start with optogenetics, which is what we have been discussing so far, and we'll then transition to optogenomics. Okay, so optogenetics. SASI already explained it a little bit, but let's just go a little bit more in detail. What is optogenetics? Optogenetics is, in optogenetics, the idea is the following. You can take cells, and in particular in our case, because we're dealing with brain-machine interfaces, we start from neurons. We can add this specific sequence or molecule or protein, if you want to call it, which is called a channel rhodopsin, in such a way that when we shine this channel rhodopsin, or at the end of the day, when we shine a neuron with light, this channel rhodopsin will trigger the flow of calcium ions. Calcium ions are the molecules that neurons utilize to communicate between them, right? So you all know that we have neurons, and neurons form themselves into networks. The signals that go through these neurons are calcium ions. Fine. With a full-fledged lasing system and a full-fledged microscope, we can control, we can see, we can study how light goes through neurons, and of course that's the door to control. The reality is that, well, we're not going to embed a microscope and a full-fledged laser in anyone's head. So how can we make these devices smaller to fit the vision that Sassi showed 2 slides ago? Well, the good news is that, okay, today, thanks to the tools that nanotechnologies provide to us, we can create extremely small antennas. And as you may remember, the smaller your antenna is, the higher the frequency. And of course, if you make it very small, that frequency is going to lead you to optical signals. Does it mean that, you know, I can do anything that I've done at radio frequencies now at optical frequencies? Well, actually, to some extent, yes. You will have to revisit a little bit the antenna theory, but at the end of the day, we can manipulate light in the same way that we manipulate the 2.4 gigahertz in your Wi-Fi, and we're able to beamform, beam steer, reflect it smartly if that's what you want. We can do all those things with miniature nanostructures and at optical frequencies. We have been working on this for several years. We did the theory, and of course, we also did some experiments in collaboration. The next step, it's of course the antenna. What is an antenna? An antenna is a device that takes a signal at a given frequency and radiates it out at the same frequency. Okay, well, the antenna is therefore just one element. I need something that can take the energy, let's say, from my battery, my electrons in my battery, and convert it into a signal at optical frequencies. That device, it's a laser. And in our application, what we need is a nano laser. The reality is that for several years now, there have been several works showing how you can build super small lasers. I'm talking about lasers whose total size is just a few micrometers, and which can effectively convert your currents into photons, which is what we need. Those lasers are not just devices that will emit the signals. We can also use them for modulation purposes too. And in addition of controlling the wavelength or the frequency at which they radiate, or controlling whether they are on or off, we can also manipulate their phase, and we can even engineer them to generate fancy modulations like orbital angular momentum. And for example, in these three images here, this is the result of a collaboration with Professor Liang Feng, who also used to be at Buffalo, now he's at UPenn, in which we experimentally demonstrated that we can indeed generate controllable orbital angular momentum modes from a laser whose size is less than 10 micrometers.
The whole discussion after my ideas lab morphed into, which was not about optogenetics or not what we might do, but whether we should do it.
So the nano devices that we are talking about, they will be kind of like artificial cells or artificial molecules which can be programmed and injected inside the body. And that is also really going really well, like with these COVID vaccines, it's going that direction. These mRNAs are nothing than small-scale, nanoscale machines, right? They are programmed and they're injected. And what will help us is they will work together in a cooperative way.
Yep, that's right.
Health-related problems. For example, we can find solutions for heart diseases and cancer tumors, or diabetes, or Alzheimer's diseases, or epilepsy, because they will be programmed such a way and injected, and they can attack those targeted areas, like, for example, Crohn's disease is an intestine problem. And there's no solution for these or cure for these problems. So these artificial designed cells or these nanomachines will help us to attack those illnesses, and it will prolong our lives. So that's the explanation in a nutshell. You know, how these devices are designed, how they are programmed, how they are injected, how they go to their targets, and how they cooperate. That's where the communications people come into picture. And the biologists are needed for understanding the cell's behavior, so that we can create these artificial cells. And then the programmers are needed to code these cells. So that's an interdisciplinary research. And also we need, of course, medical people, so that they can tell us how to code these devices, so that
they do.
These devices
most of them do, I bet.
Diseased areas. So overall, it will help us, to prolong the lifespan of the people.
The first guy we were watching,
Internet of Nano Things,
had the question of ethics, and he said, well, that's not for me to worry about. I don't have to worry about the ethics of it. I'm just doing it.
Market size shares, trends, by product type, nanophones, nanosensors, and others, by communication type, by network architecture type, by application, and by region forecast to 2028. The global Internet of Nano Things, IONT, market size is expected to reach USD 46.9 billion in 2028 and register a revenue CAGR of 22.1% during the forecast period.
Yeah, put it
Increased
in a bucket
government
of water.
funding on advancements of nanotechnology, rising prevalence of various harmful disease, and surge in investment by private players are some of the major factors driving global Internet of Nano Things, IONT, market revenue growth. Simple Google search, Internet of Bio Nano Things Standards, ITU. If you don't know what the ITU is the International Telecommunications Union, which is running the AI for Good 2030 agenda program. United Nations. Pretty important. They're the ones creating standards, working with the IEEE and the IEC and the ISO in changing standards, laws, and creating
ultimately,
policies.
I guess they tell you they want it to be AI,
So
but it
on this
won't be.
page, which I will leave all of the information that I'm going through down below, I hope you would just, pay attention to the words that I'm talking about and go search them out for yourself, because you'll find all this information very easily yourself too. Or you could just go down to the description, which is something that Miss Sasha Latipova doesn't do to prove her opinion pieces. So, yeah, the information's always there when you come to this channel. International Telecommunications Union, this one's a PDF. I would strongly suggest downloading it and reading it. We're not going to go through it today in this video because I have already done it in past videos and provided the documentation to it directly to source. Internet of Bio Nano Things, a review of applications and investigation of key technological challenges, is presented together with a detailed review of
Trump said the
state-of-the-art
same thing.
approaches
He's going
and a
to
discussion
spend money
of
on
future
data
evolving
centers.
technologies. International Telecommunications Union again, okay? International Telecommunications Union again, another PDF, Volume 2, issue number 3. So this is ongoing and current. They're continuously meeting in their think tank groups and creating standards, jobs. A lot of employment that has to do with the Internet of Bio Nano Things and the biodigital convergence. And this employment really started emerging in 2018. American Institute of Physics, Graphene and Related Materials for the Internet of Bio Nano Things, International Telecommunication Union, special issue on the IOBNT. So in the International Telecommunications Union AI for Good page, special issue on IOBNT for health applications. As Internet of Things, IoT, approaches technological maturity with growth number of applications on the market, new integrative ideas emerge to push the current boundaries of IoT and extend its application range. One such approach follows a holistic view
your cells respond
and
to light.
regards the
All
universe
your
as an interconnected entity which is to be observed, understood, and manipulated. With new information and communications technology, ICT, at the center of this approach lies an emerging ICT framework, the Internet of Bio Nano Things, IOBNT, envisioning the heterogeneous collaborative networks of natural and artificial nanobiological functional devices, example, engineered bacteria, human cells, nanobiosensors, aka synthetic biology.
Hey, Steve.
Conventional domains, example, human body with unprecedented spatial temporal resolution, enabling paradigm-shifting applications, particularly in the healthcare domain, which they're talking about the future evolving technologies of healthcare, which is going to be AI precision, healthcare, electroceuticals, electric drugging. Your doctor is an app on your phone, and you get your drugs through optogenetic systems in your house. With unprecedented spatial temporal resolution, enabling paradigm-shifting applications, particularly in the healthcare domain, such as intra-body continuous health monitoring and theranostic systems with single molecule precision.
Hi, Sophia. Good to see you.
So we'll just keep going on this one Google page search. A role of bottom-up synthetic cell in the Internet of Bio Nano Things. Contribute to special issues of the ITU, International Telecommunications Union, United Nations, controlling all of the telecommunications radio wave signals since the 1800s. ITU journal on the topic from Bio Nano Things. ARXIV, Internet of Bio Nano Things, a review of applications and enabling technologies. Let's just check out some of the images. So you're going to go to the images section. ResearchGate. Geez, that looks a lot like what we've been talking about with the wireless body area network and how it's going to connect with the Internet of Bio Nano Things, doesn't it? I don't know, man. These are all like ResearchGate, MPI, SpringerLink, Semantic Scholar, International Telecommunications Union on future and evolving technologies. Don't look like blogs to me. Hell, they even have videos right here all over YouTube that you can go and watch and learn all about it. Fundamentals of Molecular Nanocommunications Networks. That's our good friend Ian Epikildes. Right here on the International Telecommunications Union AI for Good Global Summit page in the standardization section, because he is working on creating the standards. You have Ian F. Kildes right here, and he has been the founder and editor-in-chief on the newly established of the ITU, International Telecommunications Union Journal on Future and Evolving Technologies, codename ITU-JFET, since August 2020. Let's go hear what Ian F. Kildes says about these COVID vaccines for a second, and then we'll continue on. We'll show you some standards within the Internet of Bio-Nano Things and biodigital convergence that have already been.
Here, Internet of Bio-Nano Things, these are for the health applications. I did also a lot of research on that the last 15 years. Bio-nanoscale machines, but these are for the injecting into the body and always monitoring the health problems. And that is also really going really well, like with these COVID vaccines. It's going that direction. These mRNAs are nothing but small-scale, nanoscale machines, right? They're programmed and they're injected. And then Internet of Nanoscale things. So those will be part of 7G and beyond, right? So we can see this picture that it will explain you about what is the Internet of Bio-Nano Things concept. So you see this human body has all these kind of like biological paradigms, like neurons, hormones, and calcium ions, calcium signaling, molecular motors, bacteria, and there are zillions of them, and they create these cooperation, and then they communicate with each other inside the body. And then what we are trying to do is we will try to mimic all of these. We will create artificial nanoscale machines. Actually, these are very small scale paradigms here. And so we will try to create these artificial nanoscale machines and inject them, like artificial bacteria, for example, or artificial molecular motors.
And well, we just type in Ian F. Kildes, molecular communications, ITU, International Telecommunications Union, and of course, all kinds of research pops up under his name in the ITU.
Thanks, Watt.
Here's his journal publication since January 2020. And boy, oh boy, does he got a lot of publications here. All about the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, molecular communications, metamaterials. Quite a bit of work and money for something that doesn't seem to exist in Sasha Zlatopova's fantasy mind. Here's another paper from Ian F. Kildes, Information and Communication Theory with Biochemical and Molecular Communications Theory. AI for Good. And would you look at that on the exact same Google search, Ian F. Kildes, Molecular Communications, ITU, International Telecommunications Union. Go to the video section and you can see and learn a whole bunch. That ARC seminar series, Professor Ian F. Kildes, at about 13 minutes into that video, what does he say?
Possibly.
And then here, Internet of Bio-Nano Things, these are for the health applications. I did also a lot of research on that the last 15 years. Bio-nanoscale machines, but these are for the injecting into the body and always monitoring the health problems. And that is also really going really well, like with these COVID vaccines. It's going that direction. These mRNAs are nothing but small-scale, nanoscale machines, right? They're programmed and they're injected. And then Internet of Nanoscale things. So those will be part of 7G and beyond, right?
Fundamentals of molecular nano communications network, ultra broadband communications and networking solutions to unleash the THZ band, ITU journal webinar, information and communication theory with biochemical and molecular communications theory. And it just keeps going on. Lots of videos that he's doing talking about 6G and beyond. Bio, nano, Internet of Things. And here you can just Google search biodigital convergence standards, ITU or IEC. It's going to come up basically the same search. You'll have the International Electrotechnical Commission creating standards, the IEC creating standards around the biodigital convergence. If you don't know what the biodigital convergence is, just type it into Google, biodigital convergence. You'll see Canada is creating all kinds of policies around it. So is the USA, so is Europe under the Horizons program. So International Electrotechnical Commission, this PDF right here, I would strongly suggest going and reading it. IEC Seg 12 webinar, Biodigital Convergence Standardization, December 8th, 2022. This includes geoengineering, sustainability, and the following UN Sustainable Development Goals, climate action, and life below water and life on Earth. Anyways, they talk about biodigital convergence, augmenting humans, and creating standards around it through the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. Control Global, Emerging Technologies Rely on Standards, another think tank type of group that's paid by all these NGOs and governments in order to think tank standards.
That's what happened to John C.
policies.
Lilly.
International Telecommunications Union, standards for digital societies, which will include your biodigital convergence, Internet of Bio-Nano Things, and all of your smart city shenanigans.
The Bluetooth
So
might be
that
sexually
tweet would probably be my old Twitter that just got removed 2 days ago because I called out X. Standards Council of Canada, Canada at the forefront of exploring biodigital convergence. Canada at the forefront of
that'd be
exploring
good to download
biodigital
your
convergence.
read.
Standard Council of Canada.
Which strain would you
The
like
merging of
today?
digital technologies with biological systems is poised to create a social and mass market changes in the same way that the rise of the digital computing in 1985 altered society at large. Biodigital convergence is a new field of research exploring the interconnection between digital and biological technologies and systems.
No,
I would say this part's pretty telling. So Kirstel Vander Elst is the head of the Biodigital Convergence Policy Horizons Canada that's creating the actual policies for the biodigital convergence. This is the first time Canada is leading
That's
a
pretty.
SEG. Okay,
We did a nice
so
layout
biodigital
for
convergence is more than just technological change, says Vander Elst. It may transform economic and trade models and industries such as manufacturing, healthcare, and agriculture. It could transform the way we understand ourselves and cause us to redefine what we consider human. Standards play a key role in shaping what our biodigital future might look like. IEC appointed Francis Collier, SCC Governing Council member, to lead the SEG 12 as convener. The political impact of biodigital convergence on commercial sectors and our day-to-day lives is enormous, says Collier. The opportunity to embark on this journey is a win for Canada. I'm both humbled and excited to have the privilege of working with pioneering experts from around the world.
Don't worry about the fog, guys.
And what is Policy Horizons Canada? Policy Horizons Canada is a federal government organization that conducts foresight. Its mandate is to help the Government of Canada to develop future-oriented policy and programs that are more robust and resilient in the face of disruptive change on the horizon. Sounds a lot like WEF wrote that.
It does.
World Standards Corporation, another PDF, landscape of ISO, IEC, ITUT, existing fields, biodigital convergence, JTC 1-SC41, Internet of Things and Digital Twin, JTC 1-SC 42, Artificial Intelligence, UIT-T SG5 TD 2021-0511. Establishment of a new standardization evaluation expert group on biodigital convergence, ITUT, International Telecommunications Union. Government of Canada publications. Exploring biodigital convergence, what happens when biology and digital technology merge. IEEE 8th World Forum on Internet of Things, Work 03 IoT Platform Technology Use Cases and Standardization, ITU, ISO, IEC, JTC 1, IEC, and ISO. Forum-based standards, important dates, papers, biodigital convergence, and the co-convener of the methodology group of the IEC, which is Francis Collier. And they have their own wonderful YouTube channel, the Canadian Government Policy Horizons. I would strongly suggest going over there and listening to what they're saying about the biodigital convergence, man merging with machine, CRISPR gene editing, the CRISPRization of humans. You got the American National Standards Institute working on it, and it's global. One country makes the standards or the policies, and it just keeps going to the next country, to the next country. But it's all starting at the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, AI for Good 2030 agenda. The part of the SDGs that nobody out there that is exposing the 17 SDGs seems to want to talk about. It's pretty important, though. It's how they're controlling you. So what is the International Telecommunications Journal on Future and Evolving Technologies that Ian F. Kildes is the journal editor-in-chief of since 2020? The ITU Journal on Future and Evolving Technologies, ITU JFET is their call sign, is a scholarly, professional, peer-reviewed digital publication free of charge for both readers and authors, published by the International Telecommunications Union, the United Nations Specialized Agency for Information and Communications Technologies, ITC framework, creating standards. Aim and content, the ITU Journal considers yet to be published of papers addressing fundamental and applied research. It shares new techniques and concepts, analyses, and tutorials, as well as learning from experiments and physical and simulated test beds. It also discusses the implications of the latest research results for policy and regulation, legal frameworks, the economy, and society. So the ITU Journal welcomes submissions at any time and on any topic within its scope. The topics within its scope, we're just going to scroll down to the main, most concerning ones that Sasha Latipova seems to think doesn't exist. Here's one that's important: physical layer issues of all communications paradigm, which is the biodigital convergence of all communications paradigms merging together. MIMO systems, cognitive radio system architecture, platforms and hardware implementation for supportive cognitive radio systems, cognitive radio network resource management, nanoscale communications and networking, Internet of Bio-Nano Things, Internet of Nano Things, and molecular communications. This is the group, International Telecommunications Union, Journal on Future and Evolving Technologies, connected with AI for Good Global Summit, that Ian F. Achildes is the editor-in-chief of. But you'll probably still think it's not real. These aren't blogs. I will have all the links to everything I spoke of down in the description below. Now, would you take a look at that ResearchGate paper? Physical Layer Security in 6G Networks, August 2021, IEEE Open Journal of the Communication Society. Has their DOI
I've been
document.
commenting and my mic is muted. Hi, Tommy. I didn't see you before.
Let's just read this abstract real quick. The sixth generation 6G of mobile network will be composed of different nodes from macro devices, satellite, to nano devices, sensors inside the human body, providing a full connectivity fabric all around us. These heterogeneous nodes constitute an ultra-dense network managing tons of information, often very sensitive, like your health information, your biometric information, internally down to the cell. I'm adding that because that's what it is. To trust, the service provided by such network, security is a mandatory feature by design. In this scenario, can act as a first line of defense, providing security even to low resource nodes in different environments. This paper discusses the challenges, solutions, and visions of in beyond 5G networks. And you can see all their associated papers. 6G needs to solve unprecedented challenges, it would say. Human body as a part of the global network. Lots of interesting stuff in the IEEE. Physical layer security in 6G networks.
Yeah.
So if you got a Pfizer vaccine or a Moderna vaccine, the only reason that worked is a nanotechnology called lipid nanoparticles.
See, that's my crystal ball. I've got another one right here. But that crazy Canadian, he won't show me his crystal ball. I don't know how he knows so much.
If you go on Rumble and look at Baxter 420, go through and watch every single video this guy posts, because it's all sourced. And going to his comments and description of every video, you will see all the sources he uses, and they're all from the World Economic Forum, they're all from scientific journals, they're all from journals of medicine, they're all from technology consortiums, the IEEE, and the ITU, the United Nations. He's literally showing you the fist that's coming at your face.
But there's a big difference between the Synergy Channel, non-Baxter 420 juxtaposition, and these other folks. And it isn't just the research and the hard data. It has to do with believing in your fellow human. Their attitude is, you're too stupid, it'll be too overwhelming, and that's because their belief is, you're too stupid, you ain't worth it, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. It never was. Nobody has made the effort up until recently to really help people understand and not give up on them. That's one of the things I now recognize that I'm known for. I don't give up on my students. I'll come back and explain it again. And those same people that complain, and they're like, she's repeating herself. And I'm thinking, yeah, do you give up on your students? That's not a good teacher. And you should also, as a teacher, be willing to say, well, wait a minute, if it didn't translate, let me try a different method and see if it helps. Then returning to educational content so people can see how it fits together, et cetera, et cetera. That's called We Care. It's also why Juxtaposition has so many videos. It's also why Rumble Dad, non-Baxter 420, has so many MIT and some biomedical, because we believe in our fellow human. That whole team humanity. Well, it ain't over there with the wrong tip of the spear, I'll tell you what. So I want you to hear this, because we're in discussions right now about, how to go forward with some of the different PDFs that I'm creating, plus the new research with ensouling the rebooted genome. And I'm going, oh my word. Anyways, don't worry about any of that. We haven't even got there yet. It's going to be intense mathematically, but don't worry. Whatever you don't understand, we will work together until you do. Okay. So to change the timing here.
Think of Dr. Eric.
Yeah, a little bit of Gilda Radner. Yeah.
Comment that Corinne Noko made.
Roseanne, and Dan.
Oh, well, we got to dumb it down. If you give them too much information, they'll run away. AKA, I think people are stupid, and I don't think they can understand this information. That's basically what she said without saying those exact words. Well, that's the difference between them and us. We don't think people are stupid, and we think that if you do present this information properly in front of them, and they actually take the time to look at it, they are going to understand it, just like we did, because we took the time to look at it. It's like, have faith in your fellow human to be able to comprehend something if they actually read it.
Wrong tip of the spear has had this plan for a long time. My problem is being around these fucking people when I was young. This is life extension technology for the few, and the rest of you get fucked. We don't care. So here we are. It's 2025 now.
Let me turn it down a bit.
Talk about 30 years being under the skin, and that this is a biocyber interface to get in easier. The nano is a redundancy network, meaning that they've got optogenetics, that's light. They have the nano. They have pressure and sound. They have all these different things all around for 50 years. We have no education. the physics guys that are out there. Oh,
I think she's louder than you, Paula.
There's a bunch of them. They will go no biophysics. That's fucking embarrassing. Here we are.
What'd you say?
I think she can compete with you for volume.
People, ripped it out of the medical community.
Yeah.
Changed the whole medical community and said
she just surprises you all the time. She'll be talking along calmly and then she yells.
Disappeared. The human anatomy.
Yeah.
World War I, World War II. Here we go. Fuck you some more. Test the Chords program in Vietnam. That's smart cities and track and trace, just like it is today. What's that called? Research and development. Oh, they don't do that. You have got to be kidding me. No. We have so many people.
No, she's married, Brian.
Augmented. None of you said a word. Too busy going to conferences at universities and hotels, augmenting yourself.
She's a nice looking lady.
And fucking Jones, oh, it's a breakaway civilization. No, it's not.
So how are you doing, Paula?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there.
How are your teeth doing?
Oh, better. Yeah,
Good.
better. The toothache is gone.
Good.
But I'm still like not back on a regular sleep schedule. But yeah, I love her. She's awesome.
Oh, this is a beautiful graphic for smart cities. Who's this from? Los Angeles. Okay, this is Los Angeles. They're burning that strip up right now.
Yeah, burning it.
Getting ready for their smart city.
Yes. Yeah. They're
Looks
even
beautiful.
they're even burning down rich folks, millionaires' houses to put up their
Well,
little smart
yeah.
cities.
Did you hear that apparently a few months ago they started rescinding people's fire insurance? But I bet you they didn't do that for the rich people. They have better
I'm
insurance.
sure that the millionaires do get fire
Oh yeah,
insurance.
so they knew that
Poor
was coming.
people,
So
they
they
had
probably
theirs
doubled up
taken
their
away.
insurance, and there's going to be some
yeah.
nice insurance claims there.
Oh yeah.
How technology makes us smarter.
Technology makes us smarter. Fuck out of here.
Oh, okay. So let's see. What makes a city smart? Oh, it's a smart city of Los Angeles. We believe that a smart city is one that efficiently and ethically uses secure technologies, data, and resources to improve quality of life, sustainability for residents, businesses, and visitors. Now, that is an entirely possible thing. It's efficient, choose optimal multi-purpose solutions, maximize, limit government resources. But here comes the problem, the ethical problem. And
the ethical problem, yes.
Yeah, they don't consider that. They don't consider us. They don't consider asking us if this is what we want.
Right. I mean, there's literally a goddamn ethics committee. Sign me up. How do I fucking get in there and put everybody in their place? For fuck's sake.
Yeah, be my mom. Yeah, she's a mom. She got a couple of older kids, so yeah. Yeah, them Holly weirdos. I don't know. So yeah, the smart city of LA. That's a great idea. Technology, data resource. Oh, it's going to be secure. Of course, it's going to be cyber secure.
Sure it is.
With a track and traceable digi-use so everywhere. Quality of life and sustainability. Well, yeah, this whole sustainability thing is a whole hoax, right? That's where we do with less and they get more. Hence trying to drive us out of the areas they want to redo. Hi, Seth. Good to see you.
Yeah. While we're talking about ethics, I would like to repeat something I said in live chat that I think maybe some missed. They stole our health from us. This is unethical. They stole our health from us, and now they're trying to sell it back to us in that patch. And they are the lords that rule and reign over us. The Lord's giveth and taketh away. Taketh away your good health. Oh, here, you can buy it back temporarily at a high price. Costs an arm and a leg. $60 and up. Ridiculous. That's unethical. Will you please be my mom? Who is that and who are they talking to? Are you there, Max? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got muted. My apologies.
Okay, what were you saying?
Oh, I said they were referring to Sabrina.
Ah, yes.
I was just looking at other posts people put. This one I can't really go into. Well, I don't want to go into it. Graphene-based plasmonic nano antenna for terahertz band communication. So I believe this is where you can buy it. Block ads and malware, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. An antenna system induces an elongated conductive plane and elongated dielectric layers that is disposed on the conductive plane. An elongated graphene nano ribbon is deposited along the axis and is coupled to the dielectric layer. Dielectric layer at a graphene dielectric interface. Okay, so they're using the two materials together to get their effects out of. A feeding wave at the graphene dielectric interface in a method of making a surface plasmon polarization wave antenna. So yeah, they're turning that into an antenna. An elongated conductive plane is formed, and an elongated dielectric layer is applied on a surface of the conductive plane. An elongated graphene nanoribbon is applied to the dielectric layer. A signal source is coupled to the elongated conductive plane. Okay. So yeah, that's graphene. That's just graphene-based healthcare. That's something you can actually invest in right now. But
wow.
For those of you who haven't seen this,
yeah,
I'll bring it up. See, there is a good possibility of them doing good things with this, but the problem is it's hackable. Almost everything's
exactly.
hackable.
They're trying to say it's going to be secure. Anything online is hackable, like you just said.
You know, they even show it themselves. But, like this thing, graphene-based sensors and health monitoring, so they do want to do that, even though graphene is damaging. Nanolipids, those are damaging as well. They cause inflammation and all kinds of other problems. Graphene rips through your body and causes micro fissures in all your cells and stuff, and that's no good either. So they really haven't come up with a good material for doing it, but they're forging ahead anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, they don't care.
They really just don't.
They're like, we'll just, as we figure it out, we'll change it up later. And if people die in the process, oh wow.
Yeah. With graphene, they're hoping to be able to do muscle and neural stimulation, along with monitoring and, surveillance of the environment and the area around you and everything inside you,
Right.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. That's what we got to do. Hack them back.
Well, once we get enough of that tech on us and in us like they're doing to us, we should be able to.
Maybe.
We should be able to take control of whatever the fuck is in our bodies.
Well, I just wish a hacker would get out there and delete the data they have. I know that would mess a lot. It would mess a lot of people up because that would be pretty much the end of the blockchain. But
right,
you know, and cryptos and stuff like that for probably years. Although with the new supercomputers, they might be able to do it faster. But yeah, it's a plan then, right?
When you need one. Oh, that's right. They're in prison already.
Yeah. That's right. Trust the plan.
Yeah, right. Please. I don't trust people I don't fucking know personally. Not really.
Don't worry, Trump's going to save us.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they just apparently they signed the terahertz frequency under the W band.
Wow.
I just heard that. I haven't checked it out though. Let me check that out. See if I got any news on that.
If Trump's the savior, we're fucked. You know, but the way I'm seeing Bible scripture now, it's just fucking redonkulous. You know, anyone who's awake, not awakening, but awake, is a Christ. Anyone who wants to rule and reign over the Christ are Antichrist. But they call themselves the saviors because all the tech and they have all the money and oh, they're the special ones. No, fuck off. He's no savior. He stood right there and he said he took the vaccine. No, the fuck he didn't.
Terahertz wireless body area networks are wireless technology that uses terahertz radiation for communication and sensing in medical devices. Terahertz radiation is non-ionizing and has lower frequency than X-rays, making it safe for medical use. That has to be proven. Terahertz antennas were designed to be compact and have high gain. They can be implanted in the body or worn on the body. Sensors in the W band measure biological functions like heart rate, blood pressure, and temperature. Data from the sensors is transmitted wirelessly to remote data analyzer or observer. Benefits is non-invasive scanners are non-invasive and don't expose the user to ionizing radiation.
Non-evasive, excuse me, but if it's in my body and I don't want it there, that's fucking evasive.
Well, at some point they might come up with something that doesn't kill you, but at the moment, like they're testing for what they do for, the W band to see what transmitting a signal through you does is just pathetic. I featured that a few videos ago.
Oh, yeah.
They test for your temperature, your heart rate, your respiration, and one other thing, and that's about it. So, yeah. They don't measure what it does to your genes or your cells or anything like that.
They're not concerned with that.
No.
And then how dare they say it's non-evasive when they don't even care about the damage that it's doing to the cells and the everything. Bullshit. Double-speaking lying-ass motherfucks.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to play this one as well. Let me put my headphones on.
And then we have like these three I put underneath. It's more like the 7G after 2025, 2030. It's more like the 7G after 2025, 2030. Like quantum communications, again, that's a very hot topic. Everybody talks about it, like especially quantum computing. My personal opinion is the progress is very slow. The quantum computing is here since 20, 15, 20 years. and the progress is slow. Similarly, quantum communications is now active, and the outcome is really not there what we expect. For example, you cannot have these big data centers in the mobile systems, right? How will you carry that in your pocket? So it would be a need for new, as an example, mobile device which can do quantum communication, right, and quantum computing. And anyhow, so people are writing papers, right? And then, as Buinar said, I do this research since 15 years, nanoscale machines and also bio-nanoscale machines for the human health. And there's a lot of progress going on here, like molecular communication,
itself,
health
channel
applications,
name, awesome.
virus detections, bacteria detection. So I wish I could give you one talk about this alone, right? And unfortunately, I will just cover these green areas.
Sacramento.
And then a little bit yellow because I will show you how I ended up in terahertz band communication.
That's no way to say hello.
Other bio-nano things, these are for the health applications. I did also a lot of research on that the last 15 years. Bio-nanoscale machines, but these are for the injecting into the body and always monitoring the health problems. And that is also really going really well, like with these COVID vaccines. It's going that direction. These mRNAs are nothing than small scale, nanoscale machines, right? They are programmed and they're injected. And then it's another nanoscale things. So those will be part of 7G and beyond, right?
It's more like the 7G after 2025, 2030.
At the beginning, you mentioned the network is two-way. So if the network communication is two-way and we can reprogram the bacteria we are putting inside the body, we have a huge risk of security over there.
This part is the cyber world, right? Hopefully, people will behave nicely, but that's not the case, unfortunately. You're right. So now if somebody can come and then really reprogram you and kill you even. So now if somebody can come and then really reprogram you and kill you even.
So I can inject into the body, and then they can fight these ill cells or ill bacteria, and then solve the problem. So just an example. So I hope you are getting the point, right? So we are trying to create these nanoscale machines, genetically engineer them. They will act like bacteria, and also in the future we will see that neurons and calcium ions and etc. And it will help us for prolonging our lives. In fact, the
he went away for 24 hours.
COVID injection is exactly based on this idea.
So that's it. Yeah, it's always interesting when you get people like that, You didn't even say hello. That was how rude. Maybe if you had said hello, why are you such a racist? I might have been okay with it, but didn't even say hello. At least lure me in first a bit, Right, Jojo? How rude. Right? Hello would have made all the difference in the world. That was some interesting stuff. I like where they're going with this. But I think we should have a like a two-tier society. I think we should have those in the smart cities and those outside the smart cities. I'd like to have the option, Right now, we're not given the option, unfortunately. Enter. Oh, there we go. Oh, what happened to the cool graphics? Hold on a moment. Where's the PDF? Formal? No, that's not it. Data processing. There we go.
You find it?
Yeah. This is the one with the good graphics and the PowerPoint presentations. You know, just the bullet points presented. You can go right to here. And change human beings, our bodies, minds, and behaviors. That's what our government's interested in doing.
Yeah,
Pretty
ridiculous.
self-explanatory, you know, and then when you combine that with all the money they're spending on all of this nanotech and brainwave activity and all that, you know, it can be used for good. But, you know, we haven't even caught up with regulations on the technology we have already, you know, and then we have to fight against the idea that, you know, if we don't do it, somebody else will, you know?
Yeah. What kills me is they're doing it so that they can control you, but they've already been controlling, you know, Manchurian candidate type shit, you know, things like that. And but they want full control, but with the control that they've already used, just messing with your mind, you know, people like Obama made it legal to lie to motherfuckers. So, in my opinion, he came against the shenanigans law and undid that when he was in office. And he has now stated clearly that shenanigans is perfectly fine. And if you get caught saying the truth, well, we're going to punish you for it.
Yeah.
And now but they controlled you enough that you woke up from that. So you noticed you were being controlled, woke up from it, and are telling people about it, and now you're in trouble. But if you'd have left us the fuck alone in the first place, assholes, we wouldn't be here doing this shit. Trying to warn people.
You didn't
We
say
wouldn't
hello.
have anything to do.
You didn't say hello this time either.
Well, I seen a comment in there where he still said, hello, why are you a racist? But he needs to just stop it because nobody here is a friggin' racist on this page. Think they just came in to disrupt the video.
Yeah,
oh, you're live.
Yeah.
And they can just dry up and blow away.
Yeah. Yeah. Either get on with what we're talking about or don't bother, please.
Or leave. Yeah. Grow the hell up. That's a good one. Grow the hell up.
We're on biodigital convergence in the government because the policies or Horizons Canada document is apparently the blueprint for the world. Government of Canada here. Justin Trudeau is really, well, he's really on board with all this, although he's stepped down. That really doesn't make much of a difference. The whole thing will march forward anyways. All of this.
This part will march forward no matter who's in office. Exactly. It's two wings on the same bird. It's the same fucking plan. The only difference is, and here's the thing, man. On the right, we'll just say on the right, they're just more sneaky and conniving about it. On the left, they're kind of like right in your face. Yeah, I'm a bully. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Because I got all the money and I got all the power and you don't have shit. But it's still two wings, same bird, same plan. And also on the left, the plan seems to move faster. And on the right, it seems to move slower. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to pick the slow side for this fucking plan they have for our bodies without our permission.
It's the same in Canada. We have two-party system, just like you guys pretty much do. Liberals and conservatives. They're the Democrats or the liberals, and But for years, and I don't know why people forgot this, but we used to call conservatives are just liberal light.
Yeah.
You get the exact same thing, just a little lighter.
Slower at the agenda. Yeah. Let's slow this fucking agenda down.
They've given up on the totalitarian two-step. Now the parties just lie to you and do whatever they want, at least in Canada.
Yeah. Well, remember in that pesky little Bible scripture, it's going to be one leader that rules the whole entire world. And I don't even know if we'll be allowed to know who the fuck that even is.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's not in my lifetime.
Well, I don't want it to be in any damn
unless
lifetime.
it's our AI overlord, then I'm totally for it. I love my AI overlord. Hi, Liturgy. It's 1-year-old douchebag. Page that called. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I go all kinds of places. It probably has nothing to do with me. This is interesting. This rash of racist stuff. Interesting. Well, we're just about done here. I gotta get some stuff done. We've been on for a couple of hours. All right. Thank you all for coming by.
Yes.
Next time, much love to you all. Hopefully we'll see you in class tomorrow.
Much love.
That's fine. All right. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. Much love, everyone.